So, the last piece is the one I was really, really happy to see. For the first time, Calmont had a table at one of these things that was devoted entirely to sake. And Henry Sidel, the president of Joto Sake Company in New York City, who brings in these artisanal sakes, had his array there, and I did that first. I tasted the rosés out at the reception, but then I came in, and before I beat up my mouth with all kinds of other stuff, I went through his entire sake line. And I'll be honest, I was actually going in, I was going to try a few that I was interested in, and but he was there, the table was open, and he was a very nice man, and he's completely knowledgeable. And I went through his entire line, and I gotta say, I was so impressed, and I was so happy, because sake is one thing that's not been very easy to get hold of in Vermont, maybe just because we're a small market. And I'm going to do what I can to spread the word a little bit through this, and I'm going to send some emails out to folks I know that I think that might be interested in pick this up, and any Asian restaurant, or anybody that's even got a couple of Asian dishes, or quasi-Asian dishes that they run, to do a pairing with some of these would be phenomenal. There was one, the Hou Hou Shu, with from a woman sake maker who was a first generation, brand new. This stuff was serious, really serious, very complex. And now I have to preface this by saying I actually got introduced to really good sake long before I got introduced to very good wine. I've been training in the martial arts for a number of years, and probably it was in '92 we were able to buy the big magnum bottles of stuff like Onigoroshi and Tsukazu Botan and Suishin, some really nice sakes for about $17.50. And it's not like that anymore. Something happened years ago, and the sake's gotten more expensive, but that was a wicked deal then. Now it's probably about where it ought to be for the quality of the stuff that is being tasted. And so, again, I'll point to the Joto Sake website and say that there's a whole bunch of stuff here that is really good, and if you know sake, it's worth checking out. If you're not into sake yet, this is going to be the way to go, and you better hope that some of your local restaurants are talking to Calmont about getting hold of this stuff, or even your good wine stores, because these are things that are worth keeping in the fridge. Last point about this sake. I said I was going to just do a hit and miss and try and check out one or two that I was interested in. There were a couple that I was actually planning on avoiding, just out of sheer stupidity and prejudice. Because at the table, Henry had some sparkling sakes. And I couldn't even put it together in my head what that meant. And that's probably because we still have a lot to learn here. And it just so happened that because of things turned out, I was able to wind up with a couple of little bottles of the sparkling sake. And I tasted it, and my preconceived notions were blown away. And we're going to have some tonight upstairs before dinner. And so this is the Hou Hou Shu sparkling sake. The normal Hou Hou Shu is just a plain sparkling sake. But this one, I don't know if that helps to see, it's a cute little bottle here. This is a fantastic summer champagne alternative. This one is pink. Pink sake, you say? That's what I said. But it's because it has rose hips and hibiscus macerated in it. So, it's got a Stelvin cap, as most sakes do. Now, this is not a fully fermented sake. This is kind of, I gather it was an arrested fermentation, so whereas most sakes run, maybe 15 to 18, 19% alcohol, this one's only 6.1. So, you can really enjoy it. See, it's effervescing. And this one is not one that is done by injecting carbon dioxide into partially fermented sake. This one is done in like a traditional method, as champagne would be. So it's very active. It's a little bit cloudy because it's got some of the rice left behind. It's not filtered. It's like the other one. It smells kind of like a vanilla cream soda, but this has got extra flowers, but the hibiscus is really rich smelling. This is creamy. It just smells creamy. I mean, I've gotten essences of that on sake when I've had it before. And if you've only ever had sake burning hot from the machine at the Japanese restaurant, that's not sake. That's like Milwaukee's Best that's been chilled down, you know, to 34 degrees so that you can drink it. That's a whole different thing. Room temperature, chilled sake, when you're talking about that kind of stuff, whole different thing. Okay. Kanpai. I have to say, with the flowers, it almost goes to like a dry strawberry cream soda, if that's possible. This stuff's an enigma. I still don't even know what to think of it. So I need to talk again. I think we might need to place an order for this for a party, because this stuff's unreal. There's a whole bunch of people that drink sake. I don't know if they believe it, but they might. So. Wow, that's dangerous. Okay, well, I'm going to cut it off there because I'm running out of things to say. I've probably run over my time limit. I need a little clock. But I'll catch up with you again. Until then, enjoy, be safe, and I'll see you next time.